Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a spooky episode of Podcast Time. Hello, spooky brother Tyler.
What's up?
Well, that was anticlimactic. You didn't even do it in a fucking spooky voice. Do it again.
I know, because I don't have spooky voices,
Do
okay?
a fucking spooky voice, Tyler, I swear to God.
Oh, what a spooky voice.
Fucking Christ. Alright, whatever. Fine, good enough for me. Anyway, Halloween episode of Podcast Time. Coming at you right now. What the fuck? So, we got quite a bit to talk about. Yeah.
At the time we're recording this, we have about 5 days until Halloween. But Halloween's already going to be... Well, Halloween's going to be different than any others because of, you know, COVID and everything. But actually, I think Halloween is, like, should be the least most affected holiday out of all of them for COVID because people can have costumes with masks on.
Yeah.
So, but people are like, oh, trick-or-treating, I cancel, you know. And sure, I guess some places
Another
won't
thing,
have them, but like...
The government doesn't even control Halloween. It doesn't control trick-or-treating.
Well, they can't have all the cops going around on the streets to stop people from trick-or-treating.
Right.
Like, that's just not possible. Anyway, that's beside the point. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, but it is great because Halloween is on a Saturday this year. Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Halloween is on a Saturday.
I got work off that day, and I'm not working in the morning anymore. I'll explain that in the podcast thing after this one. Kind of stay out of that. A lot of dramatic stuff's been going on. We'll get to that later, but I'm so excited. Halloween recently, it's been harder and harder for me like get into the Halloween spirit until like a day or two before because of all like school and everything. Just like you can't think very far in the future. But with Halloween on a Saturday, I gotta plan something. You gotta make it memorable. Gotta have a good time. You know, so that's what we're doing. So
Halloween has always been a good holiday for me.
I love Halloween.
It's probably third on my list. First is Thanksgiving, second is Christmas. I think Halloween is third.
We could do a special Christmas podcast too, because I got a lot to say about Christmas.
We could do it. Okay, well we're on the Halloween one now, so.
Okay. So let's get off of that. Halloween's one of my favorite holidays. One, because of candy. Who doesn't like candy? Two, because of the costumes. I think I like people that come up with really cool, unique costumes. Because there's a lot of cool ideas you can do. And three is that my favorite color is orange, and that's like the main theme of Halloween. So that's main theme color. So how can you not like it? Anyway, though, let's get down into it. So, what are we gonna talk about first? Costumes or stories or what?
Well, I mean, I don't know. We have a lot to talk about, but we could start anywhere. I mean, what do you got?
I got. Let me think of some costumes that I could talk about. My very first Halloween that I went trick-or-treating for was Halloween's a big thing in our family too because that's the one holiday that we've always hosted up until a couple years ago. My grandparents host Christmas. We don't host Christmas. We don't host Thanksgiving. We don't host Easter. We don't host New Year. Well, New Year's is usually our own thing. We don't host we used to host like birthdays and stuff, but we phased out of that for a while now. But we've always hosted Halloween because we have a very good neighborhood with good houses for trick-or-treating. It's a nice, easy path to take as well, especially since my cousins are younger than me. Want to make sure they don't. It's always been a tradition to come to our house for Halloween, and I don't really mind it. We always have a good time. We phased out of that now. My aunt's been hosting it the last couple of years, which is fine. We just can't take on the burden anymore of doing it. But so I remember my first Halloween, I think it was either kindergarten or first grade. It was the first Halloween I went trick-or-treating from. And my mom made a homemade elephant costume. And I think I still have part of it somewhere. But she made it to where like the trunk had like a, not a kazoo, but like the thing where you blow into it and it rolls out and it makes like a...
yeah, like the party thing that they'd always have in like New Year or whatever.
Yeah, she implemented one of those into there. And it was really cool because it actually worked. The trunk had a hard time staying on my face because it was massive, but it did the trick and I had really fun. I think the year after that, I remember my costume really well because me and my brother, like correlated with the. No, my very first Halloween costumes, my entire family dressed up as M&Ms. That was the very first costume we did. That was probably the most clever year we had for costumes because we all dressed up as M&Ms. And I don't remember anything actually from that. I only remember seeing pictures about it. But I was of course the orange M&M. Duh.
Yeah.
But that was really fun. Then second grade, I dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, and my brother dressed up as Woody.
Well, that's weird.
I didn't want to be Buzz Lightyear for some reason. I really wanted to be Woody, but the costume fit me better. The Buzz Lightyear one did. I eventually grown into liking it. And the only reason I remember that is because remember at in second grade, I think Halloween was on a weekday that day, so we dressed up in our costumes at school, and we did like costume parade, and we would walk down to the old folks home that's just a little while away from here, and we would go in there, we parade around, the old people like seeing us and stuff. So as we were walking there, we walked past the middle school, and we were in the parking lot, and there was a cop car, and my the right arm of my costume had a little laser on it, you know, because Buzz Lightyear has a little laser thing.
Yeah.
And so I shined it at the cop car. Didn't get in trouble for it, but because luckily there was no cop in the car. If there was a cop in the car, I might had some bad things there. But hey, you know, I mean, I did. It was fun. What's another one though? I'm trying to think of costumes because last few years I haven't dressed up for Halloween. I think the last time I dressed up for Halloween was the last time I went trick or treating as well. I haven't been trick or treating the last couple of years. I haven't been trick-or-treating since it stopped being at our house.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last costume I had. I think it was Albert Einstein. No, it wasn't Albert Einstein. It was some like mad scientist or something. That was one we threw together in like the last week because we had zero time to think about it or anything.
Yeah. So I could definitely tell you a bunch of my costumes because my family usually themes it around stuff. Several years though, or like in the very beginning, like the couple, maybe 5-6 years, until my sister was born or whatever, basically. So I would have been probably 8 and younger. I think 8, yeah. Yeah, my sister was born when I was 8. So I can't remember when I had these costumes, but just a few of them. I was also Buzz Lightyear at one point, and my brother was also Woody at one point. Which is funny enough that we were both Buzz and our brothers were both Woody. But I was also Mike Wazowski. I remember that one. I got pictures of that one. And then everything after that I remember has been themed. And it all started, I think I was also General Grievous and Darth Vader. But I think the theme, like costume stuff, started in 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. One of them was like the Wizard of Oz, and another one was Batman, where I was like the Joker. I think the Scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz one. We also did like a holiday theme one, which was weird, and I got to be a leprechaun, which was awesome. And then we did... what did we do after that? Oh, we did Scooby-Doo, and I was Shaggy.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that incredible? And then we did, Alice in Wonderland, we did that one. And then last year we did Harry Potter villains, which was kind of weird, and we did like a drawing out of a hat, and that's just what we got. And this year, because I'm 18, or almost 18, I don't have to actually grab candy. They said once you turn 17, you don't have to do that. So I had to do that for the past 17 fucking years. Oh boy, does it get annoying. But the candy, on the other hand, is a solid plus. But this year, unfortunately, also fortunately, because the costumes are really good, but we have to be Care Bears, Tyler. I gotta be a Care Bear.
Hopefully at least you'll be warm.
Yeah, but I gotta be a Care Bear!
Oh, another thing about Halloween here is like it's always cold. Very cold. Not like, it's not supposed to be like summer weather, but it's always in the 30s, raining or snowing or just windy, and it's just completely unbearable sometimes.
It's always gotten colder. Like every year, I feel like it's gotten more and more cold.
This year
last year it snowed. Really nice. Last year it snowed.
This year it's supposed to be really nice, 51 and sunny, so that'll be good.
Yeah. So, whenever we go trick or treating, we'd always like go as a family, and then I was like, I've never had the experience of going trick or treating with friends. Have you? I'm sure you have though, right?
I did it once. It was the last year I went trick or treating with my friends, and we were flying. We went flying all around the place. We started at my house, we ended at Hunter's house, for whatever reason. No, we stopped there. Yeah, we stopped there at Hunter's house, and then we played video games for a while, and then we got picked up. That was the only time I ever went with friends. My friends always have something else going. Always had something else going on, and we always hosted it. So we had family over, and my parents wanted me to be with the family and stuff. So
yeah,
I just never really got into it. It was fun the one year we did it, but I don't know. I just didn't. I have a good reputation. A lot of people in the neighborhood. We're a very tight neighborhood. At least we used to be. A lot of the older people are moving out now, but that's a completely different story. But you don't want to be though. You don't want to be. When we were going around, it was like you don't want to be that stereotypical high school jock jerk guy that steals candy from everybody and vandalizes houses. Like,
yeah.
We were flying. We were running around, and so like we kind of had that persona. Not really though. I think we did really. I think it was really fun. We had a good time, but of course, me being the slower one, I had a hard time keeping up and stuff. But I mean, we got through it. I don't remember how much candy I actually got. I don't think it was much, but I remember. Who did I go with? I know Eli was there because he had a homemade Minecraft costume. I remember that. I remember Hunter went with us. I remember Cole went with us. I remember. I think Jackson went with us too. I think Scott went with us as well. I know Nick didn't because we caught up with Nick near the end of our trick-or-treating journey and all he had was a duck head on.
Nice.
It was perfect. It was perfect for him.
Which Nick was it?
Outside Out.
Oh, nice. Absolutely incredible guy.
Yeah, but it was fun. I just never really got into like trick or treating with friends. Apparently, I used to hang out with my friends a lot more than I do now.
Well, obviously, I mean, COVID's definitely
Well, not just because of COVID. Like over the last couple years, like this year and last year, I haven't hung out with them as much as I wanted to. But I used to hang out with them a ton, and I want to get back to that before we all separate. And so I like trying to hang out with them. That's why I was trying to organize something for this year, because I knew we weren't going to go trick-or-treating even without COVID because we're too old.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a fun idea. Let's have a sleepover. Let's hang out. And I'm glad I'm able to do it. So moving on. I'm trying to think of other costumes I had. Oh, I did Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one year. And it was a great costume. It came with a mask, came with the bodysuit, and had a pair of nunchucks too. And I also had to bring that one to school. But the costume was completely stupid because they wouldn't let me wear the mask or bring the nunchucks. And the nunchucks was pretty obvious reason why. But the mask, they didn't even let me bring the mask in. Come on, what are you doing? It took the whole point of the costume away.
Yeah, you can't really do much without a mask if you're a Ninja Turtle.
Right. And then when we had Halloween that night, it rained. So I had to take the mask off because it was getting wet and it was just getting unbearable to wear. And then I lost the nunchucks and all my candy, so I couldn't even show that off eventually. But yeah, I think I still have that costume too, or at least I have some of it. I at least have the mask still. I know that. I don't know if I have the rest of it. I might have the nunchucks as well. I don't remember if I have the actual bodysuit.
I still have my Joker costume. I have a Batman costume as well. I still have most of like the stuff that I just wanted to keep because it was cool. Like I just have a Voldemort mask now.
Thou who not shall be named. I probably butchered that, Harry Potter fan. Sorry about that. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I do know that quote. Or at least to an extent.
Yeah, I'd say to an extent as well, because it's he who must not be named. I always like
There
make fun
we
of
go.
that. Every time somebody's like, shh, don't say his name here. It's like, what? Okay, you must not be named. It's just kind of
Let's see.
annoying.
Oh, I do remember another costume of mine. It was a king, and that was a pretty fun costume.
Bruh.
Because I thought I was gonna have. So I saw the picture of what the costume would look like on the website from the store we got it from. We got it from Party City. I remember actually going to Party City.
Party City's a good store.
It's gone now.
What?
Yeah, it closed a while ago. It closed before COVID. It's been changed into, it's part of the new Five and Below there now.
Oh, you talking about the one that was by Target?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't. We never even went there. We only went to a different one that was in like Lansing somewhere.
Oh. Well, that's the one we went to, and I remember going in there and picking out the costume. I hated that place. It smelled weird. The aisles were very tight, except for the ones on the far right and left.
You and I had a very different feel for Party City then.
It was very weird. Like, it was creepy. It was.
I like that.
I didn't like that place.
Do you
at all,
know
but
Spirit Halloween?
Yeah, the store that just takes over abandoned places for October.
It's a really smart way to run a business, actually. But yeah, that is a good fucking Halloween store.
Let me continue with my story. Okay. So
you're
this is
just
the last
describing
costume
party. Oh, right. It was a king costume. I was like,
I
you're
picked
what
out
story?
the costume, and I saw the picture on the bag, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna have this. I thought it was gonna have this nice big like royal cane sort of thing that I could use to like walk with and show my royalty. I always saw it. I was like, they had these big long staffs that they use and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. Pull it out of the bag when we get home to analyze the costume. And so it was a cool costume. Actually, it was not, because the gems on the crown fell off as soon as we took it out. So we had to glue those back on and even make some of our own because we lost some of them. The cape was too small for me, so I had to use the cape for my mom's costume, which was the queen costume. And the cape was too long, so I couldn't even wear it during trick-or-treating because it would have gotten dirty. So I had no cape, basically.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I pull out the staff, and it's this tiny little thing that's not even the length of the bottom part of my leg. Like this tiny little thing. I'm like, what is this?
That's one of the problems you get with costumes, though. You know, I have that problem a lot. You know, I've just been playing fucking these Little Big Planet mini games that I've just stumbled upon right now are the exact same ones I played last year. But besides the point, you always, like, the costume always shows you, like, somebody dressed up, but then half the stuff as well, they don't actually have in the costume. You know what I'm talking about?
No, all the elements were there. They just weren't proportionally correct. I don't know how to say that.
One of the costumes that I had to, like, pretty much make by myself was a notable costume. Do you remember Notables?
Oh yeah, I was Dwight Eisenhower for that.
I was Leif Erikson.
Dwight Eisenhower.
I was a Viking, man. That was so good.
Happy Leif Erikson Day. Inga Binga Bergen. And that's going off topic. It's a Halloween podcast.
Yeah, but I was talking about costumes, which is not off topic. But basically, I had to like make my own Viking costume, and I had a metal bowl on my head. And I think I literally just had like a green cape and a metal bowl, and then I was just like wearing normal people clothes.
That's cool.
I had a beard too.
And I had a suit, and I shaved my head nearly bald in my costume, but I had a suit.
Oh Christ!
So it was a pretty simple costume because we had stuff lying around. But yeah, that was my notables costume. I can't think of any other Halloween costumes that I had though. Let me think.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much it for me as well.
Yeah, I think
that I can remember at least. I mean, there's definitely more. but I can't remember them for shit.
Trying
Because I was
think.
so young.
Oh, I was a vampire one year.
Oh, you just reminded me. I was a vampire one year, and it worked perfectly.
I think everybody's been a vampire.
I had that. You know how like when you take the pictures and if you got blue eyes, they turn red. I have a picture of me in the vampire costume, and it's actually quite terrifying.
My vampire costume was pretty cool. I had plastic teeth to make it look like vampire teeth. I didn't like those that much because it made my mouth fill up with drool and stuff. It was, didn't really like it, but it fit well. It was one of the more simple costumes I did. So, okay, I think we've exhausted costumes. What else should we talk about?
Well, I feel like on the topic of costumes and trick-or-treating, we should probably talk about what candies are the worst and what candies are the best, right?
I think there's only really, for me, there's only a few bad candies.
Name them. I think I'm going to get in an argument with you.
I will say I am more of a chocolate fan than I am a fruity fan.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, I have we have a candy bracket video, two-parter, because Brian's stuff, but of a candy bracket that I did with Brian. He basically made the bracket and seeded everything, and then I just picked the winners and stuff, so it was pretty much my influence, but it was part Brian as well. He had his own way of influencing, I did too. I won't say who the winner is, I do remember who the winner was, but I'm not going to say who it is. But I am more of a chocolate person than I am a fruity person.
Yeah.
And so most of the candies I don't like are fruity candies, but there are some that I do. I like Airheads, Skittles, even Sour Patch Kids. Ooh. To an extent. I will be fine with.
Do you not like Gummy Worms?
I do love Gummy Worms. I love Gummy Worms.
Maybe gummies are completely different from
not, as long as they're not the ones that literally will rip your teeth out if you try and pull them apart. That's like the older kind of them. Like when they get old, they get hard and those are like the really bad ones though as well. But anyway, so like I don't like the sour candies like Warheads or Lemon Heads. I've never been a huge fan of. But the only candy that I have never actually the only candy I've never actually tried, it's my most hated candy for a reason, Almond Joy.
Oh! I knew it! I knew it! I knew we were gonna get into an argument.
Because who the fuck wants coconut in their candy?
I do, Tyler! Coconut's fucking great!
Well, here's the thing, like, either people really love Almond Joy or really hate it. I am on the really hated side.
Dude, I think that coconut is fucking great, dude.
I don't know, it just doesn't appease me. But again, I'm more of a chocolate guy. Really like Reese's, really like, I
like Reese's and Kit Kats,
M&M's. And Kit Kats are really good, too.
Kit Kats, Reese's, and Almond Joys are probably my favorite candies. Although, chocolate paydays are really good, too.
And you can't go wrong with the classic Hershey bar.
I don't like Hershey's.
I
don't like just plain chocolate like that. Unless it's dark chocolate.
I always loved getting the big candy bars, the king size ones.
Yeah.
Like a King Reese's or a King Kit Kat or a King Hershey's, or even I get a big M&M's, or sometimes one time I got a big Whopper, big Whoppers one, Whoppers. Yeah. They're pretty good too.
I only like Whoppers in terms. I only like Whoppers when it comes to like Easter. I don't really like Halloween Whoppers. So just normal Whoppers. Like the Robin's eggs for Easter, though, are like the Whopper that I like.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good. But yeah, there's not, when it comes to candy, I'm not too particular, unless it's more of a fruity candy or it's Almond Joy. Let's get your opinion. Let's see what kind of candies you don't like. Okay,
so the candies I don't like are actually like, literally, I really don't like just plain Hershey's. I've never been a big fan of just plain chocolate unless it's dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate's the best.
Dark chocolate is fucking incredible.
Dove dark chocolate is heaven. Is heaven. Heaven.
But I'm also not a very big fan of like, suckers are great every now and again, but like every freaking one. What am I doing?
Blow pops are the worst. The gum, never have I
The
had
gum
the
in a blow pop is literally bad. Like,
it's horrible. It lasts a second at best.
yeah, it doesn't.
I've never been a big fan of Tootsie Pops either, but they're better. At least they're better than blow pops, but they're not my favorite.
Yeah, Tootsie Pops, Tootsie Rolls. On that note, like, I've never been a big fan of them either. Like, if I eat them, it's just because they're the only thing there. Like, if there's nothing left, then I'll eat a Tootsie Pop. But for the most part, or like a Tootsie Roll, but for the most part, I just won't.
Now, Dum Dums, those boys are good. I'll tell you what.
Dum Dums. You know what else is good? Dots.
Bubblegum dots are good. You just can't eat them all at once. You gotta like, because they'll stick to your teeth, and they'll, you know, that kind of thing. Actually, I do have a funny story about Starburst too, because that's a really good fruity candy as well. Starburst. So, I told this on a school stories video, but I think it was the 4th or 3rd grade. After lunch, it was near the ending of lunch, and I had, I think, 2 or 3 Starbursts in my lunch. So me having the great idea, I put them all in my mouth at once, chewed them up, and then stuck them to the roof of my mouth just to sit there while we went out to recess.
Yeah.
Innocent enough, I didn't choke on them or anything. I was fine, even though I pretty much had blocked my nasal cavity at this point. But not knowing that, I didn't even know that at that point. But now thinking back, I actually had done that. So you're playing Foursquare, and I was in line cheering people on and stuff, and I accidentally yelled "shit" out loud at the top of my lungs. I wasn't meaning to say it, but because I had the Starburst at the roof of my mouth, that's what people thought I said. And then Nick Seidel again, he repeated it at the same tone of voice, and we both got sent to the principal's office. That was the only time I ever got sent to the principal's office that wasn't for an injury or some other, like, non-in-trouble thing.
Yeah, no, I've been to the principal's office many times in trouble.
We all know that, okay? Come on.
I think that's funny. That's a good candy story.
But what's, back on the topic of favorite. Okay, you keep going, because I went off on a tangent there.
No, that was fine. Actually, I kind of want to move on from that, because you just told the candy story, and I want to tell a story about trick-or-treating 2 years ago.
Alright, okay, go.
So we were going around the neighborhood we live in currently, and there's this guy over by the elementary school in that little, like, circular roundabout bit. You know what I'm talking about? Right up the hill. Not towards the high school, but towards the other way. There's like a little roundabout bit there. But one of the guys... That's besides the point, I guess.
Rundown houses?
No,
Or the one house that had the fire?
No, I don't think so.
Do you not even know the fire story? Whatever,
no,
keep
I
going.
don't. But, so, there was this house in that area, and the guy was like, would you like candy or vegetables? So my brother's smart mind was like, alright, all these losers asking for candy are gonna get one piece, but if I ask for vegetables, he's gonna give me more, or like a king size. So my brother's dumb self asked him for vegetables. And so he gives him a can of green beans. And my brother's still convinced that inside this can, there is candy. We're all like, what do you mean? It's literally a labeled can of green beans. How could there be candy inside of it? And he's like, well, I don't know. Maybe he's got like a can maker or something. And we're like, a can maker? What do you mean? So we take it home. And he opens it with such a joy in his voice. And it's just fucking green beans. His face dropped so fast, it was so funny.
Oh my god, I'm crying. This is great.
So, next time you go trick-or-treating, and a guy asks you if you want candy or vegetables, pick the fucking candy.
Why would you? Oh my god, that guy. Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, it fucking is. I love it. That is a good trick-or-treat story.
That is great.
There used to be this house that we'd always go to because they'd have fucking juice boxes there, and it was the best shit ever. I would look forward to those juice boxes. It's like we have juice boxes at home, but for whatever reason, those were always so much better.
Oh, I remember, we were, this was when I went trick-or-treating with my friends.
Oh, wait.
We were, walking, it was near the end, I think we were walking back to Hunter's house, and we passed by this little wooded area, and we hear like a branch crack behind us, and it's this douchebag wearing like this, like, murder pig butcher looking mask. He bluff charged us and stuff, it was great.
Have you ever been to like a haunted house? Like,
I have been to a couple, not of the, like, the really good ones, but like I've been to a couple like tacky ones.
I've been to a couple good ones, I'd say. Nothing too crazy though. Like, you know, just.
I would love to go to a
chill
more
stuff.
like I would like to get a few friends together and go to like a really good one.
I'd like to go to a real haunted house. With a,
Yeah,
like, that would be cool.
Oh, you're talking about like something that's actually haunted? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Why
no,
not?
I want to really go haunted. What if we could do both? Go talk to the fake paranormal, then go talk to the real paranormal in the same night.
We should just play Phasmophobia. It's the same concept.
Get a Ouija board.
I still think it would be funny if we got like a Luigi board and went to somebody's house. Fucking one of us is dressed up as Luigi, but they don't know that they're at the party, and then Luigi, or just like summon Luigi. Luigi, we summon thee.
Oh my god!
It's
Make a makeshift
me!
one. Someone has to make a makeshift like a Luigi board, just like.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of a thing that just has to have happened, though.
God. I don't really know any other trick stories while trick-or-treating that I can really remember.
I think I have.
Yeah, I'm lost.
I think I don't really have any more trick-or-treating stories. Maybe one will pop up later, but I do have some pretty spooky stories that have happened to me personally, and you know, like. Just like spooky stories that I remember being told as a child. Actually, I think you were there for one of them because it was at a scouting event. We were up north, like by a lake. We were at Jacob Hetchler's like cabin or something like that.
My foot through the ice twice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Well, we told spooky stories there too. I'll get to that in a minute though. I have a couple
Yeah,
that
we did tell
like.
spooky stories. I remember a lot about that trip. Surprisingly.
Yeah, me too. That's pretty much where I met you and Eli and all that.
I didn't even know you were there. I do remember Eli brought Pokemon, and I had no fucking clue what Pokemon even was. So, and I also remember that's the first time I saw Jurassic Park 3, but I didn't even know it was Jurassic Park 3. I thought my brain still thinks like it was this like giant bug movie, but looking back on it, I can piece together that it was Jurassic Park 3, and I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, I feel like okay, so here let me just start with my spooky stories. One of the spooky stories that I have is straight up like I remember in our old house there used to be like this kind of almost spooky like woods behind us. It wasn't nothing crazy or anything like that. It was just kind of, you know, a little bit spooky just as it is. But ow. One day my dad and I decided we were going to go out into like the woods or whatever and just kind of explore. We were out there for hours just exploring it. It was actually really cool. It's like a really cool woods. They got like an abandoned train track behind it. But I mean that just adds to what I'm about to say being creepy. One of the freaking things that we saw in there was an old abandoned train cart with a conductor's hat just sitting in there, just sitting in the middle of the woods. And it was really creepy. And so there was literally not a single train like near where I lived, but for whatever reason, every single night I would hear a train. Like there was an abandoned train track behind my house in the woods. There was an abandoned train cart with a conductor's hat in it in the woods. And it just freaked me out because I was like, dude, we got like ghost trains or something behind our house, and I was always, well, no, there's a train track. No, there isn't. I looked it up on a map, but there was nothing there. And actually, that house was really fucking creepy, dude. I remember like there used to be this fucking vent, and every time you look into it, you'd feel like somebody was watching you, and it was really fucking edgy and creepy. Another thing that like I had there was I had my first like night terror or whatever the hell. The one where you are paralyzed and you're halfway awake, but you like see paralysis demons and stuff.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, I had that, or that happened to me once when I was there, and it was absolutely terrifying. Like, I couldn't move, and I thought I was dead, and my parents were in there, but they weren't actually there because they didn't remember any of it. And I couldn't move, and it was really terrifying. Yeah, a lot happened in that house. I was afraid to go to the basement because of how fucking creepy it was. Although, in my old house, I was afraid to go to the basement because the doors weren't hinged properly, so every so often they just opened by themselves. And I'm just like, okay, moving on. It's time for bed.
Bye.
Like, oh god. I remember the first house I remember living in, when I went into the basement, we used to have like this witch Halloween decoration just chilling in there, and it scared me so bad. Just walk down the stairs and then just, oh fuck. There'd just be like this crazy ass witch down there. It was really creepy.
Yeah. Back to the I kind of want to we could that weekend at Jacob's cottage could probably be its own podcast alone. So much happened there that I remember. So I remember so much from that. It's like crazy how much. Like, I remember every small detail up until the moment we left. When we walked out the front door, I remember there was SpongeBob on the TV.
Yeah.
I remember putting each of my feet through the ice once. I remember burning my hand on cooking bacon because I thought it'd be a great idea for unexperienced third graders to cook a breakfast.
Bro.
I remember going snowmobiling, like tubing but behind a snowmobile. I remember doing that. I remember driving a snowmobile. I remember ice fishing. I remember being absolutely blind when we were out there ice fishing because the tent that we had didn't have any lights in it. We didn't bring any lights or anything. I remember playing Pokemon at night. I remember watching Jurassic Park 3 for the first time. I remember telling spooky stories. I remember... And then I remember leaving. I remember getting there too. I remember getting there. I remember me and my dad almost got lost, and I remember leaving too. I remember like the moment we walked in and the moment we walked out. Like, I remember so much from that trip.
Yeah, one thing that I remember though was the spooky stories, and there was like one specific story that stuck with me. Do you remember the one with the girl who had wraps around her neck or whatever, like below her head? And they'd always wonder why. It's kind of a classic story at this point. I'm sure a lot of people know what it is. But like, she would date this guy, and then when she was dying, she undid the wraps or something like that, and like her head just fell off. That one stuck with me, man. I felt that. That was weird.
God.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it always like worried me. Like, I don't know what it was about that one, but it always reminded me of that.
I guess the only scary story I can I have right now, is, it was in the summertime. I was up north at my grandparents' house, and they have a small house. They have 3 bedrooms, but my grandparents don't sleep in the same bedroom anymore, for storing reasons. So they took up 2, and then my parents got the 3rd bedroom. Then me and my brother had to sleep on a pull-out bed, which is old. It's done its deed. It's done. We're too big for it now, but yet we still use it. It's not very comfortable, but it wasn't back in this time. So I was sleeping, and like the pull-out bed's like right in between. There's like a connecting little walkway in between, like where the bathroom is and the bedrooms, and then the rest of the house where the kitchen and the doors are and like all that stuff. It's not very big, but So I was sleeping, and it was about 1 in the morning, and I wake up, and I hear a knock at the door. And they really have 4 doors, but one of them they don't use anymore. It's blocked in. There's the main entrance by the driveway. There's a side door that we only really use when we come up from swimming in the lake because we get sand all over our feet and stuff, and we have a hose back there we can wash our feet off with before we come inside. And the other one's the sliding door that leads out to the deck. And nobody else ever uses the sliding door. Like, if you're going to come into the house, other than coming out of the water up from the beach, you're going to use either the main door or probably the sliding door. Never ever has anybody like come up to that door. So about 1 a.m. I hear a knock at the door, like a few knocks. It's coming from that side door. First off, nobody else is a permanent resident on their lane up north. They have people that come up there during the summer for a few weekends every now and then. But I don't think anybody was there that week other than us. Maybe there's a couple other places, but they wouldn't be knocking on a side door at 1 a.m. They live it's up in the country area up north, 1 a.m. and they're knocking on a side door. I was freaked out. Freaking out. I had no idea what was going on. So then, the knocking stops, like 3 sets of 3 knocks apiece. Eventually they stopped and I fell back asleep. I wake up, and then I wake up again about 3 a.m. and more knocks at the same door, same persistence. Okay. I'm like, I'm freaking out at this point. I don't know where to wake up my grandpa because he's got guns. So, like, do I alert him to get the guns and go out and check? What do we do? So I didn't do anything. I just fell back asleep. Then about 4 a.m. I wake up again because I had to use the bathroom. And behind the pull-out bed / couch, there's a big window. And usually moonlight shines in there at night if it's a clear night. Moonlight will shine in there. Because there's no curtains or anything there. Like there's like 2 sets of 2 side windows, but inside the main big window. But the big window doesn't have any curtains in it. And I saw the outline of a person over me, and I froze. I froze, and I was frozen for about an hour, just sitting perfectly still with a full bladder. I didn't blink. I barely breathed. I just sat still like a rock for an hour straight. Eventually, whoever it was left. I fell back asleep, woke up about 8 a.m., told my grandpa, he called BS, everybody else in the house called BS, and it traumatizes me to this day, because we've never really had to deal with it, even here at my house, or up north, or anybody else's house that I've ever been to. We've never really had to deal with trespassers, or intruders, or break-ins, or anything like that. So, and it scared me, because, like, all that was standing in between me, who was the closest to the doors, because I sleep on the right side of the bed,
yeah,
and certain death, because whoever's going to come up to a fucking front door at 1, 3, and then again at 5 in the morning, in the middle of up north in a country, knocking on a side doors, obviously a deranged idiot that was trying to kill people, was this door. And the door was locked, but he could have easily broken it in. Like, that traumatizes me to this day. Like, I remember that so much to this day. Like, I don't know what I would have done. I have never been that still ever again with a full bladder, because I had to pee really bad, and eventually I fell back asleep and I didn't use the bathroom at all until I woke up about 8 a.m. So that wasn't good, but never again. No. Next time that happens, I'm getting the fuck up and I'm gonna go see who the fuck it is. Cause I could take him down now. That was about 5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, somewhere around there. So it's been a little while. So
A couple of years ago,
scary story. Okay, moving on.
One of the creepier things that has ever happened to me, and it's like part of the reasons why. Well, yeah, part of the. Well, no, shit, I forgot about that story completely. Okay, so I have two stories, and one of them still fucking traumatizes me and is the reason why I believe that there are like fucking extraterrestrials or fucking creepy ass monsters out there. I remember several years ago, I was still had the bunk bed. I was at the top of the bunk, and it was at the middle of the night, and I was just sitting on my DS, just playing like Mario or something. I don't fucking remember. It was years ago. It was probably like a Star Wars 3, because that on the 3DS was the shit, dude. But anyway, so I remember like it being super late at night, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere I hear the sound it makes when like your bare skin touches like wood, because it's kind of like a sticky sound. And I heard something climbing up my ladder, and I fucking froze, and I couldn't move, because I was like, oh shit, I got caught, my parents are gonna fucking take away my DS. Then all of a sudden, whatever it is, fell off the fucking thing, and I heard it go, or something stupid. You're laughing now, but this scared the shit out of me, dude. I don't even know what the sound it was, but it was something like that, and I was frozen. Part of me wishes I would have fucking taken my 3DS camera, taken a picture of that shit, and then fucking bolted.
Wait, repeat that sound. Wait. Do it again.
It went,
do the sound again. Do it again.
It went. That's supposed to be a funny story. That shit scared the shit out of me, dude.
If something made that kind of sound, it doesn't matter where or when, I would just start dying laughing.
Maybe not if it's fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep that entire rest of the night. I was like fucking worried so bad.
Oh my god. That was great. Oh.
But anyways, that was one of the fucking reasons why I believe that there's like some Bigfoot shit or something like that out there. I don't know what the fuck that was, but I woke up in the morning and I told my parents, they're like, no, it was the sump pump flushing. And I was like, bitch, please, that is not the noise a sump pump makes. Anyway,
Sump pump.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so another one that happened 2 years ago at a Boy Scout camp. And I'm not talking about the raccoon story where I fought raccoons with a hammer and a flashlight. Completely different story, completely different podcast. I'm sure I've told it before. Maybe I'll tell it again in the next one. But anyway, I was at a Boy Scout camp. It was just like a normal. I think it was at like a public campground, like a what the fuck are they called? I don't know what the fuck. It was at Sleepy Hollow or something like that. I think was the camp name. Which oddly enough is the site of like a fucking horror story with the Headless Horseman. But anyway, we were playing like this hide and seek game but basically we were trying to scare the shit out of one of the scouts. And I got them to believe that there was something out there. And then I fucking freaked my shit when I fucking thought I saw somebody sitting by the trash can. And I thought it was this kid Matthew, so I was like, Matthew, the fuck are you doing? Matthew, get out of here. There's a fucking creature out here. Whatever the fuck that thing was, did not have hair. And when I realized that scared the shit out of me. And it was not responding to me. It was fucking staring directly at me. And it was not responding. Now again, part of me wishes I would have fucking jumped on that shit. And if it killed me, then at least I was part of it. But fucking, I don't know what the fuck that shit was. Because I fucking, as soon as I realized that thing had no hair and was like, or maybe it did have hair, but it was completely white. Like, white as like a piece of paper white. And
maybe it was a guy who had cancer or was going through chemo. You don't know.
Sitting by the trash can at 12 o'clock at night in a fucking public park?
When you
I don't think so.
Maybe he can't sleep because he has chemo.
Okay, buddy, that's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. And you don't have chemo, you do chemo. I've got chemo.
Fuck
Somebody
off.
give me cancer treatment.
Shut the fuck up. God, just continue.
Fuck you, Tyler. Anyway, so I thought it was fucking terrifying. And so I turned around and I sprinted the other way. And fucking, I found Matthew eventually, and he was just sitting back at camp, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Was that you sitting by the trash can? He was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't know if he was fucking with me or something, but later that night, I saw it again, but it was in the middle of the fucking woods, and I threw a fucking rock at it this time. And then all the other kids were like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you throwing rocks at the fucking trees? I was like, fucking saw it, and I know I saw it. All y'all pick up some rocks and chuck it. And so eventually we got back into like it being some sort of game, and then I convinced Matthew that it was hunting him. Whatever the fuck it was, because I thought it was funny. And so Matthew's over here shitting his pants, and we tell him, hey, why don't you go stand over there and be the bait? We'll grab some rocks and we'll come after you and we'll throw the rocks at it. So he's standing in the middle of the fucking parking lot by himself. We all just left. We all just fucking left and went back to camp, and he was just standing there by himself. He must have been shitting his pants.
Jesus Christ.
But that was fucking terrifying, man. I didn't know what the fuck that was. But I eventually got over it, like, within the same night, because I was just joking about it. I was like, nah, one of these kids was retarded, and he was joking around, and he had a bald cap, and a morph suit, and something else. And some serious agility. Fuck me, dude. That was a fucking rake, wasn't it? Like the fucking monkey thing? I bet it was a rake. Anyway, so yeah, there's a couple of my personal scary stories. I can't believe you laughed at my thing where, man, I was like 10 years old. That shit was terrifying.
The noise was just that noise.
I don't remember what the fuck it was.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Oh god.
Let's see if I have any more. Oh, that was during a storm. Never mind. I was thinking about earlier in the summer when a grill flew into our window. Well, that was at a cottage. That's not about scary stories though, so I'll save that for another time. But let's see. I don't have any. Really can think about. I've lived a very protective lifestyle. Okay.
You know, I'm the one who jumps into shit. I've been caving before, and that shit's terrifying. You turn off your headlamps, and it's pitch black, and you cannot see anything. There was no light going in there. You would not be able to see shit. There's a reason why things that live in caves are often blind. It's because you don't need eyes, because you can't see anyway. And, you know, sometimes it's really terrifying in them, but I'd love to go with a group of friends to, like, a legit haunted house or something like that. And just, like, spend the night, like Omar Gosh does, or, like, fucking...
Oh, I love Omar.
You know, stuff like that. People like that. I can't even fucking remember any others.
Proper people do some of that stuff. Not as much haunted, but just abandoned places.
Yeah.
But Omar, he's primarily just haunted stuff.
Yeah. It's very clearly fake sometimes, but I don't know. Some of the other times, it's legit fucking creepy. Like, even if this shit isn't haunted, it takes a lot of guts to go to these places. Like, oh my god.
I remember, what was it? It was one of Omar's videos. He went to that, I think he was in Virginia or something. He went to that cemetery with his wife, and I shouldn't be laughing. I shouldn't be laughing right now. This is a serious story, but I shouldn't be laughing. But what happened was so hilarious. So he's going to the back. He went to the back of the cemetery, and there was like a wall of trees, behind there, and he's like trying to listen in on what's going on because he could hear stuff, and all of a sudden he hears this girl scream and then a gunshot. And his wife freaked the fuck out, and then she tripped. And then his wife said, "Oh shit," and she tripped over. It was the most hilarious thing.
Oh god.
It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
You know what what really fucking creeps me out in those videos, and it's always kind of terrifying and just puts you off guard? The fucking radio things that they use that flip through radio stations really fast, and then occasionally you'll have a word that comes out. That shit's fucking terrifying to listen to. Like, it really fucking builds up your anxiety levels. Like, oh my god! Like, you know, genuinely, if I had friends, like, with me, I wouldn't be too upset about it or anything like that, but as soon as they turn... What the fuck was that?
Oh, that's my cat.
As soon as they turn on that radio thing, though, oh god, I just get so fucking terrified. Like, you know, the place itself, not that bad. The actual fucking monster, not that bad. But that fucking radio thing, oh my god.
A place that I'll never go explore, no matter how much money they fucking pay me. Well, that's actually a topic of debate, but is a sewage system, like an abandoned sewage system.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Never gonna go through that. That's fucking terrifying.
Like the one that Omar and his friends did. I think it was in Cincinnati. They went to one in Cincinnati, and there's a legit clown.
Yeah.
Fucking chased them through there. Like hell no, I'm not doing
that.
It's fake
as hell, but you know it's
you're gonna get
still
lost
terrifying.
so easy. You can get lost so easy. It's already dirty in there.
They've been through like fucking tunnels to the underworld and stuff. I think I saw the one that you're talking about, but they've done like a couple of those videos. One of them that I fucking watched, there was water in there, and there was this rock that just kept following them, and it was really fucking creepy in there, man. And the echo is insane. You hear anything, and it terrifies you because it echoes through the entire tunnel.
You remember the one where he and his friend went to go in Florida? They went to find a sewage system in Florida, and his friend got lost.
No.
His friend got lost in a sewage, like a drainage, what's it called? Drainage, like,
drain
complex.
pipes?
Drain pipes. Not in pipes, but like, it was an underground, like, draining system. He got lost in there. And so Omar, and like, the reception was bad. So that was pretty fucking, like, I would hate to get lost in there, especially by myself.
Yeah, no, that would be fucking terrifying.
Dirty. It's dirty as shit down there. Why would you want to go down there? 2, it's dangerous because you can get lost super easily. 3, the Walmart wackos that live down there.
What a good... Alright, I think we're going to leave that Halloween podcast off on that note. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us for this Halloween podcast.
Stay spoopy, people.
Stay spoopy. Anyway, goodbye.
I see ya.